Here's a set of tools that your grandfather would have had in his toolbox, or even your great-grandfather. So these here, 8-point. So you got quite a few 8-point sockets, and I got 2 here I keep in my regular toolbox. I think I have pretty well every size from 3/8 to maybe 7/16 up to, and these come in handy up to 7/8. If you've got a bolt like that, and if you do this long enough, you'll eventually come across bolts like this, and that'll fit right in. That's the only thing. If you want to drive that with an impact gun or a drill or even a ratchet, speed things up. It's all about speed. Trying to get the job done quick so you can go home. That won't. These 12-point sockets, this is a set I bought years and years ago when I was first starting out, but these will not work with a square head. It'll, see how much room there? You'll tear the corners off that. They won't fit in here. If you hammer that on, it might work, but it's nice to have. Where'd the ratchet go? Here's the ratchet that came with that set. This is the beginning of our modern tools that we have today. You would have had a square drive, and you put your socket on there. This isn't the right one, but you know, that's how that would have worked. And you would have had a couple of them because you need 2 to run this. See? So that's still really nice. Could still use that today. Can you imagine driving a this is probably 5/16, a 5/16 nut with a 1/2-inch drive? You'll just break that right off. But that's a set from, anybody want to guess how old this set is? It's going way back. So now we have, this is more modern stuff here. This is what I bought when I was starting out. And you can see the corners are very sharp in here. And we got a mixture of 6-point sockets. And over at the other end here, some of these are 12. And that's the way these came. This is an original set. This one here has been replaced. It's got the rounded corners. You can see those sharp corners on this one. And this one's got like a rounded corner. So it's supposed to grip the head of the bolt or the nut on the flat side. Here's a bigger example here, which is really nice, and it tends not to round over your bolts, your heads of your bolts or nuts. So here's the first gear wrench I ever saw. These were bought years and years ago, and you got a little directional button here. You can change directions. It's kind of similar design to the ratchet here. Almost the same kind of thing. You know, 3 layers of metal, but you have that little pivot button. So, but now they come really refined. These, I'm a big fan of these. These are quite nice. I've got a set of these at home that pivot right here. I'll show you those. The other end's an open end, so really nice to have this. I was doing a job years ago, and I needed a 12-point socket. If you take the valve cover off an engine, or there's certain places there are these 12-point bolts, and you need a socket like this to get on. You can't get on with a 6-point. So I bought this little tool right here, which is really handy. You grab it, it's called a socket stick. So you've got every size from, I think, 10 millimeters up to, what is this, probably like 18 or something, 19. Yeah, it's got most of the sizes. And it's got the locking button there for the The socket, once it's on there, it stays on, doesn't fall off. That's nice. These clamps here are very handy. From squeezing a caliper back open, you know, so that you can get a new set of pads in to, you know, a little welding project or trying to glue something. You can. These are endless. The amount of use you can have for these. This one here is this one locks automatically to whatever size you put in there. So let's say you want to go to a big, it'll lock onto that, or it'll lock onto something as thin as a piece of sheet metal. Automatically adjusts, and you can adjust the tension by this little screw here, how much clamping force there is. So if you want to clamp two pieces of metal together like this to weld, you can do that. The older style like that, you'd have forever be adjusting this screw right here to get the right size up here. So you want it a little smaller or bigger. Now, I've got these crowfoot wrenches. You know, it's endless all the little specialized tools I got in my box. I'm just going to show you a few of the ones that, yeah, I didn't have these for the longest time, and I've got both a metric and a SAE set. These go on to a ratchet. You can put an extension on there. If you put the ratchet on, you'd be pretty tight fit then. I should get a ratchet and show you. So there you go. That can work to get at something. It's really, I think this is really designed to be used with an extension. So if you've got a threaded rod with a nut you want to move, or not going on there too good. There we go. So, like I said, in a threaded rod or brake line, you know, this is really handy. And this is for extracting screws. You got a drill bit on one end, right here, and then you just turn that around on your drill, and that's an extractor. I could do a whole video on extractors, but these have come in, saved the day a few times. So you can see it's kind of threaded there a little bit. I bought these, I showed these in the last one of my other videos, but you know, if you're going to do a job and you know you have 4 or 5 sockets, and it's a good way to keep track of them, they won't fall out. These were cheap. I think I paid like $4 for this little set. And I've got 3 different sizes. That would be for your 1/2 inch. This is for your 3/8. And then the yellow one here for a 1/4 inch. But you could put 1/4 inch in any of these. So, what else? Oh, I've got tons of these. These little fellas. You know, if you've got an O-ring to remove, or, you know, every toolbox should have a set of these dental tools. I got a whole bunch of these. Here's the set of gear wrenches I've got. From 3/4 right down to 5/16. So these, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to show more of these gear wrenches I've got at my home shop. They pivot right here, and they've got some cool things about them. Little tweezers, very handy to have. Until you have a set of these and you use them a few times, you don't know, you wouldn't even know you missed them. But once you got them, you become a little more dependent on stuff like this. You know, 2 of the tools, I've already mentioned these before in another video, but 2 of the things you don't even think about are many of the things I don't even think about are things you use every day. And you can't even buy these in the store. You'd have to go to a steel supply place. You'd have to go someplace to get these. Depending on where you live, I don't know where. But these come in handy countless times. From just raising something off the bench to hammering on them, welding. If you want to hold something down, you can just plunk that on. That holds it down pretty good. 101 uses for these, and I wouldn't go without them. A couple of pieces like this. If you need, you know, endless possibilities. I always have stuff like this on hand. Okay, I'll go to my home shop and I'll show you what I have there. Besides the normal tools you need, I'm trying to show you stuff that you wouldn't normally have in your shop, but you might find really useful. So let's see if I can dig up some more stuff at my home shop.